common misconception that even those familiar with technical communication, that working as a technical communicator involves only advanced writing abilities and an in-depth knowledge of a technical subject. And while these qualities are definitely a part of the everyday life of a technical communicator, they are only a fraction of the know-how that technical communicators must bring to their work. For effective communication, not only must the content be written clearly, but the manner by which the topic is presented must be equally clear and relevant to the subject. Medium, layout, the use of images, videos, sound, and color must all be considered when designing any technical work. There are many dimensions to effectively presenting a document, and this video's focus will be on color. Color is more than decoration, it is a tool and should be thought of as one. Color is a multifunctional tool useful for more efficiently communicating information. This video will focus first on color's function as an emphasizer, and then on color's use for emphasis through the lens of a colorblind audience. A communicator cannot just arbitrarily choose a color for emphasis because not all colors draw the eye equally. Deciding on which colors to use in a document can be challenging due to the sheer amount of options and general lack of standardization. Fortunately, there are basic rules to follow when using color for emphasis. The most basic of these rules is universal design principle. If everything is emphasized, then nothing is emphasized. Of course, this rule holds true not just for emphasis via color, but also for fonts, underlining, bold, etc., and is obvious from this example. It is impossible to decide which section of this document the reader's eyes should be drawn to. This is because the color red draws the eye more than any other color, which is why it is so often used for important messages. Discontinuity also draws the eye. In a web page full of black text, it is quite easy to find a link to another page because it is blue. Not that the color blue itself draws attention, but the fact that it is the only blue word in a page full of black text. It is important to note that when using color for emphasis, that a sizable portion of the population is colorblind. 8 to 10% of males are colorblind, and 0.5% of females are colorblind. That means for a website primarily viewed by male readers, that 1 out of 10 readers could be colorblind. But how does this affect using color for emphasis? The answer is actually based upon what kind of color blindness the viewer may have. There are many types of color blindness: red-green color blindness, blue-yellow color blindness, and complete color blindness. And because only 1 out of every 100,000 people are blue-yellow color blind, and even less are completely monochromatic, we will focus solely on red-green color blindness. There are 2 categories of red-green color blindness: deuterans and protams. Both forms of this red-green color blindness are poor at discriminating small differences in hues in the red, orange, yellow, and green region of the spectrum. In other words, the most obvious color for emphasis, red, cannot be used for a large portion of the population. In fact, there are quite a bit of color combinations that are bad for red-green color blindness. Here is a list of color combinations that one should avoid when designing for color blindness. Even if you avoid all these colors, there is no guarantee that your work will be equally viewable to both viewers with normal vision and color blindness. There is unfortunately no one solution to designing for colorblind viewers, but in addition to avoiding the bad color combinations, we can make more user-friendly documents simply by following some basic guidelines. First, avoid using more than 2 or 3 colors in any document. Technical communication is not an artistic endeavor, but a genre that allows for the most efficient exchange of communication. The more minimalistic a design, the more accessible it will be. Second, make sure these few colors used in the document are contrasting colors. Just like black is a contrasting color of white, other colors also have contrasting colors. These contrasting colors can be found at the opposite ends of the RGB color wheel. For example, the contrasting color of orange is azure. Third, even contrasting colors can be made more distinguishable by adding textures. Finally, do not solely rely on colors when emphasizing part of a document. Colors are useful for emphasis, but its function is amplified when combined with symbols or other forms of emphasis. In summary, though there are basic rules for emphasizing with color, The relatively large percentage of the people with colorblindness complicate the matter. Following these rules will raise a document's accessibility for the 10% of males and the 0.5% of females who are colorblind, thus broadening the amount of people who find your work useful.